Hi, it's 7:19 p.m. on a Friday night, November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving. Sitting here eating cream of mushroom soup, actually. I don't know where this video's going to ultimately go, but I've had some afterthoughts about this idea that people are frustrated and that consultants won't speak to them. And I think I have a better understanding now of why. Because of the daunting task in taking care of my own channel here on YouTube. I think what's going on is that people naturally want more answers to the questions of concerning the DNA ICUC crank up or information about J. Essex and the spiritual foundation. And I suspect that people aren't taking it upon themselves to research their question more fully, as opposed to just doling out the challenge to someone else to explain things to them. You people who are muggles, you have not been DNA'd by J, that is, cranked up, energized by his remote consultations, where he actually goes into your hypothalamus and he makes it stronger. And he's doing that because it affects the entire body. I'm a good example of that. In fact, I haven't gotten into all the things that have evolved in me metaphysically since having this crank up. So the question I believe these consultants are asking themselves, why should I take the time to answer questions as legitimate as they are and as innocent as they are? Why should I take the time to helping them when there are other people who have been DNA'd and cranked up that need clarification or expert direction on where they can go with their evolving metaphysical abilities? I'm getting the sense now, just with a couple of questions, innocent questions that have been directed to me about this and that. And my redirect is that I would like people to do what it is the rest of us have done who've been cranked up by Jay, or consultants out there who've been trained under him, who are what you call source individuals who have natural metaphysical abilities. They possess all the frequencies they need to conduct themselves, like Jay, in making people stronger metaphysically. What I am at an impasse with at this point is that although I want to help everybody, anybody who generates comments underneath my videos, it's increasingly becoming more difficult to do so. I've explained in the past videos that I don't have internet service. I have to travel 13 miles to a library to gain access. I don't expect to have paid internet service installed in my apartment because there's too many technical complications, trees being in the way of the internet signal emanating off the top here of the mountain that I live next to. So with this kind of impediment, it makes it difficult for me to even stay on track, keep track of the lines of topics I'm producing, because I lose that sequence of thinking, the evolution of thinking between the time I'm able to connect with the internet. Typically it's been every Tuesday and Friday, but it waffles back and forth depending on weather. It's snowing like crazy up here in the mountains where I live in northern Idaho. And it's a hit or miss at times, being able to even produce these videos at home where I should be doing it, where it should be in an environment that's conducive to 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 explaining things about myself. All I'm trying to do is to produce a series of videos representing a senior's experience going through the metaphysical evolution, or oh, oh, oh. And I I can only talk about myself, and in the hope that it will give other people out there different perspective and what to expect if they are seniors themselves wishing to take a crank up. I had mine beginning at 65. I'm currently 72 years old. And as Jay says, it is difficult for older people to have brains that grow, much like the younger folks, so that they can incorporate all the metaphysical abilities quickly, more quickly than a senior person. Me, as a good example, I was in stasis for frickin' 5 years. Actually, yeah, 5 years since having the crank up. And all of a sudden now I'm moving ahead and all kinds of different things are happening to me. And that in itself is difficult to define to begin with. One has to have the intellectual critical ability to interpret things at such a nuanced level and in a way that can make sense to other people, such as yourselves. It's not an easy thing, folks. There's always that suspicion that people won't believe oneself of what one says. But that's just the way it goes. That's the challenge. That turns into the art of narration, which I'm desperately trying to learn. You know, OJT on the job training. Yeah, just on Johnny on the spot. My desire is to be narrative slick so things make sense to everybody. And so I can move on with the confidence that people are grasping what I'm saying. What is it? For me, it's a matter of, I'm losing it. I'll come back to what it is I want to say. I'm also struggling with the diabetes I have, which is clearing up. I'm able to cure that little by little, as well as the peripheral neuropathy, which conflicts with the crank up itself. And I think you people who are DNA, you'll understand that there are times where ailments cloud the perception of what one's going through as the body wakens up. This vibration I'm going through, it's off the frickin' hook. People don't understand this. And I have no friends out there in the metaphysical world. Jay brought this topic up, and I have to agree that people are frickin' arrogant. They are the center of the universe, okay? The ones I've met, and I've been trying to allay their fears that I'm a good person, that I'm worthy of my presence to them. And I shouldn't even be saying this because it puts a cloud over the whole idea of being being a metaphysical representative of the most loving person out there. But this is life. People are going through their own issues in life, and they can't always be caring or loving too. So I have to take that in consideration. And that's what this change is, what JSX wants us to ultimately become: a better feeling person within ourselves, better expressive person of nurturing ability to others. I I am continually, as you well know if you've been looking at my videos, being challenged by this person downstairs who's freaking crazy. He's decided to come after me, stalk me, and do everything he can to get me out of my apartment. He's done that for over 3 years. He's probably listening to me right now. He's got his tirades turned off for the moment. He yells and screams and carries on. He's done everything you can, smoking incessantly, blah, 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 loud noise. I'm recording it all. This is a deputy sheriff's department issue as well as going to court. And it's disturbing because I don't deserve this. I'm a good person. I've never did bad to anybody. I'm Team J Essex, yet I can't be Team J Essex if I'm distracted by all this crap that's going on by this guy's downstairs. And I'm recording all this stuff. Pisses me off. So my mind is in a constant flurry, and it's hard to shake and to do so that I can come on board and produce all these videos I want to produce for people. And I think what it's going to boil down to is I take everybody to court. There's more people involved here. Up here in the woods, you'd think that people would be kind. No, they've got major issues that prevent a person from living peacefully. Stuff I don't need to get into at this moment, but nonetheless, with these conflicts coming in, I've got to start thinking in terms of limiting my time that I devote to not only producing videos, which are starting to become, in my opinion, they're sloppy. You know, for the keen-minded person who really understands the good sense of watching quality videos, I can't produce those. I can only do something Johnny on the spot. I may look relaxed as I produce them, you know, in real time, but it really, really bothers me. So I'm going to have to start looking at the idea of cutting back on whom I'm going to um, ultimately pay um, consideration to for extended comments, extended conversations via the email system, which I want to do. I want to comment on YouTube when I have the time, which is another issue. I walk into the library where I have internet contact, and I can only be there an hour and a half, 3 hours. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There are people that I'm going to be considering more so as compadres for communicating with by giving them my email. Now, I'm going to post my email on Gmail or no, wait, let me think how I got to do this. I've got to post my revised email address in place of an older email address that I've used underneath some of my videos. Proton Mail only allows me to have my personal email address. So I can't use that, thinking that I could create a new Proton Mail address. They won't allow it. So I've got to go to Gmail, where that company will allow me to sponsor all kinds of free email addresses. So I'll be doing that perhaps tomorrow, which is Saturday, the 30th of November, if I can get to it. Um, so there will be a short list as I defined it in the past, of people, 20 people maybe, who I would prefer to have had DNA ICUCs from J Essex or a counselor. I wish to pass on the details, more details about how to invigorate the body, how to, what's the word I'm looking for? Open up the body to this kinetic energy skill that one inherently has. That's hard to explain to begin with, but probably even harder to teach to people. But from those people that I teach to, they can in turn go to somebody else and pass on, the technique. And I truly, truly believe that this metaphysical skill I have, and I always say it's a skill as opposed to ability, because I can't control the energy. It's on all the time, and it I can't stop it. And it has to be something not special but unique. People out there who have, and I've said this before, people out there who have healing hands, quantum healing hands, and all that kind of stuff. I don't understand how they can have that without being bothered by it if it's really strong energy. This energy I'm ejecting, I see it right now. I see it right now, surprisingly in the daylight here, well, in the room light. It's dark outside. This is Jay's energy. Just some of the frequencies that he passes on to folks who've had the DNA ICUCs. He won't let people have all the frequencies. This energy I call physiokinetics because it affects my body as opposed to something. What do they call it? Psychokinetics or something where you move objects. I don't move objects. I can at will create uh, spasm in my body if you want to look at it in the worst way or a similar way. If it blows my mind. But essentially, what I'm doing, repeating myself here from the previous videos, is 16 minutes into this video. I got to be careful of the time. People don't want to listen to long representations of talk. I do this stuff, and it's allowed me to look inside my body at will in a general way. The specifics of placement where I go, I'm looking for my anatomy books. If I want to look at something like my pancreas, which is the primary cause, I understand, of diabetes, I'm getting a message from a spiritual guide here. I can look, just verifying what I'm saying. I can look inside my body and see it. I can see the shape of this and the color associated with with the pancreas being not as healthy as it should be. And I don't do drugs. I don't do you know alcohol binges and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I guess it's all related to eating too many carbohydrates or something over the years. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm distracting. All I'm saying is I got to put a limit on what I'm going to do now as I produce videos, and uh, I apologize for that. I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. People are going to be asking me questions who are muggles. They haven't been cranked up. Get a frickin' crank up. They don't cost that much. And the name of the gal, that the only person I know now that's taking the lead on giving people crank ups, that is getting in their head remotely, looking at the hypothalamus and jacking it up, man. I, you will feel it. You will feel it when it happens, as it happens. So her name escapes me. Part of the senility progress I'm going through. I forget things all the time, small things. So I'm going to post that link at the bottom of this video. And if you ever want to have a metaphysical experience, look this woman up. Look this woman up. So I'm not sure what else more I could say other than I'm sitting here in the freezing cold. The guy downstairs turned the heat off to get back at me. And it's a pisser listening to people complain, right? I get it. I get it. But I've been dealing with this silently for over 3 years, trying to be compassionate towards this person and using my spheres, which I mentioned before, placing it in proximity of his apartment room in order to try to heal him from the quandary that he's going through in PTSD. I'm convinced he's freaking insane. He won't quit. He's In any case, I'm going to call it a night here. And tomorrow I'm going to upload some more videos. I uploaded my training videos um, on my laptop so I can re-upload these old training videos to my channel tomorrow. Please look at them. 5 training videos. They all basically say the same thing. I just didn't want to delete any one of them because there's a little bit of extra information in each one of them that I wanted to keep around. You spend time producing an hour-long video, and why toss it? So take a choice, select which one you want to look at, and they should uh, give out the same information, but also this information in these videos will correspond with what new videos I've been saying since this last summer. You know, this is the Veritas one needs to see that this guy, Ken Reardon, is telling the truth. That's always a concern with people looking at metaphysical information. Anyway, I'm going to head on out. I'm going to have the rest of my cream of mushroom soup here, which is probably cold. And let's just call it a night, okay? As always, be good.